change to do new things, which will be better for us in the long run. But if you find that your business, doing your business right now, is not making you the money because of what's going on, if you are realizing that, hey, the business model that I'm using, I'm not making any money for it because I'm quarantined. I have to be out in front of people. This is how I make my money. And now I can't do that. If you're finding that you're not making ends meet, or your business is not giving you the money that you need to even sustain the business, maybe it's time for you to pivot. Maybe it's time to do a shift. And if you do need to do that, well, how do you do it? And what do you do? Well, I'm not that chick. So I decided to call the expert, Dr. Felicia Phillips. She is going to share some tips on how we can pivot or shift our business model to make more money. Dr. Phillips, thank you for taking time out of your busy, non-busy schedule. We busy now. We have different kind of busy now. I'm doing content. I'm working, even though I'm not out and about.
Well, I will tell you, it's actually been a lot busier for me. I kind of like when you said the non-busy, because I'm trying to find that piece. I feel like I'm working. Yeah, I feel like I'm working harder now than I was before. A lot of it is because I'm on a quest to really get as much information as I can to help our small business community. We're divided into two parts. We have our micro enterprises. These are our solopreneurs. They may not have employees. And so revenue is really important for them. And then we have our small businesses who may have a few employees. And so they're facing several different challenges within their business. And so over these last 2 weeks, what I've been doing is just being on calls, trying to see what's out here for us. How do we survive during this time? And even making the realization that we may have to make a total shift in our businesses so we can stay afloat. Mm-hmm. The truth of the matter is that most small businesses have no more than a 45-day reserve, if that, on hand. And so cash flow is very, very important. And what I want to talk about today is if you're in that position where you are going to have to make a big shift in your business in order to stay afloat, how do you do that?
Well, that's great. And that's what we really need to really focus on right now. I know that many of us do have to make that change. I've had to make certain changes. Doing more videos. You all are seeing more of me on video than you probably ever have my whole time on Facebook, right?
I'll be saying the same thing. I've been working with my team. We're putting together just loads of content. I'm starting to do more webinars. It's interesting that I spend a lot of time traveling, and being still has actually been a benefit for me. I've wanted to write content, and then I kind of put it in the cloud. And so kind of went back and looked, and I had over 300 articles and blogs and different things that I had written, information that I had, put in a folder, and all of that is coming into play now. So I'm grateful just for the moment that I can be a resource for our small business community. So I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. And we have another person joining into the mastermind, Shaun Quarterman. Working with her has been absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about her business and what she's doing. We also have Fitzgerald in the building. He's coming on tomorrow to talk about some Facebook ad marketing for small budgets. We have Miss Charlene in the building. She has been coming in faithfully. Thank you, Charlene. We have new faces. Miss Dion. Look at her beautiful face. Hey, boo, hey. And we have the cutie, Asha. I got it right.
You got it right.
Yes, honey, yes. Just like people call me Tara. I'm like, no, it's Tara. Thank you. But it's going to be a fun day. And, I want the people, share a little bit about who you are, and let's get right into it. I have my pen and paper ready. You all get your things ready. And then we're going to open up to some questions and answers. I'll moderate some of the questions that are in the chat in the group. But the people that are in here live with us, they get first opportunity to ask their questions as well. But
Awesome.
tell us about yourself and how can we do this pivot thing, this shift thing in the business model?
So you all, I'll be sharing my screen with you, but before I do that, I do want to share a little bit about myself. I think it's important when someone brings an individual on to a platform like this, you should know who's pouring into you. For me, this is a 30-year journey for me. I'd like to say I started when I was about 4 or 5, but I started at 19. And I started out of a necessity. I was at Georgia State University and I was on my own. I had moved away from my parents at the age of 17. I was working 2 jobs and going to school full time. Did not like that. The fortunate thing for me, unlike so many others, is that I grew up with entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurship was all around me. It wasn't something that was new to me. And so I started my first business at 19. By the time I was 20, I was well into 6 figures. And before I was 30, I had made my first million. Now, being on this journey for 30 years, I've probably been everywhere you've been and beyond. I have done mergers and acquisitions. I've run a tech company, a logistics company, professional services. I was awarded the Phoenix Award from the city of Atlanta for my commitment to sustainability. I mean, I've done quite a few things. I've taken products to market, gotten products on shelf. I've survived when the market crashed. I did financing and real estate, built subdivisions, was a mortgage banker. So I am a serial entrepreneur. I think it's important because a person can't help you if they don't have a reference point. It's only so much that you can pull from a textbook. Some things you just have to do in order to learn. And so that's how I'm able to help my clients win and really begin to achieve their dreams, see their strategies come to life. And so today I do want to talk about what do you do when you're in a situation that maybe you did not prepare for. For some of us, we're used to working from home or we're used to working virtually with clients. But for a lot of us, events, being out in the public, we have products and services that require us to be person to person. And so that could be affecting your business tremendously right now. I love the fact that Bernadette Harris will be coming on Friday to talk about the small business loan. The one thing I'm going to tell you as you learn about that is be patient with the process. This is the first time that the SBA is lending directly. Normally, when you would get your SBA loan, you would go through a bank and the SBA would back that loan. But now they're doing it directly. And so that's new for them. And every day things are changing. So if you decide to go that route, please be patient with it. So that's a little bit about me. These days, I spend my time as an advocate for minority and women-owned businesses, working with corporations to help their supply chain grow and scale so that there is a return of investment on supplier diversity, and helping small businesses position themselves in the marketplace so that they can realize their dreams of whether it's leaving a legacy for their family or really just building a business that they can be proud of, a business that's profitable and sustainable. And sustainable is a word that we kind of skip over sometimes in lieu of our dreams because we want to get there so fast. The one thing that we fail to do often as small businesses is really to plot a strategy, a real strategy that we can take action on. We kind of have an idea and we run with it. I'm big on strategy. You need at least a 5-year strategy, at least. We see companies like Toyota who have a 100-year strategy. And we think, wow, how do you do that? Well, when you know what the end is, you kind of work backwards, right? And you start with the end in mind. And trust me, things come out a lot better when you can see, you know, we kind of overlook things like goal setting and doing a SWOT analysis on our business. But then when we get stuck, we don't know what to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to shift during this period. So give me just a second. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So everybody can see my screen, hopefully. Yes, can you see the screen? All right, I'm going to minimize this. So how do we make this shift so that we can sustain ourselves not knowing how long this pandemic is going to last. So when you think about pivoting your company, there are usually a few reasons. One, you're either realizing that you're trying to meet the need you're trying to meet is being met by a lot of other companies. And so maybe your market is saturated and you feel like you're being overlooked. This is where you start to niche. And a lot of times when I'm teaching in the Black Belt Business Academy, I am really big on not casting a wide net. You want to niche your product or service down as far as you can so that when your messaging is out there, it resonates with people. They're saying, hey, this is me. She's talking to me. He's talking to me. And then they seek out your product and service. A lot of times people are confused by your messaging, and a confused mind will walk away. Right now, you have a captive audience of people. Everybody's on their computer, either whether they're teaching their children or they're doing work for their company or their business. Right now, everybody's on the computer. And so the other reason you may be looking to pivot the business is that maybe you've created all these products and services, and then you see there are only a couple of them that are selling. And so instead of draining your resources by trying to offer a lot of product and services, maybe you need to only offer what's selling and what your customers are asking for. This one is kind of where we are now. Markets begin to change. Whether it's a pandemic or economic shutdown, your products and services are just not bringing the money in. And I think for some of us, that's where we are today. We have a product or service. Maybe we service corporations. And maybe your corporate clients have said, you know what, for right now, we don't need any consultants. We don't need your product. We are having to streamline. And so now you're left wondering, how do I survive? The last thing I want to talk about is what I see our small businesses doing is they're so committed to this business. They've put a lot of money in it. They spend a lot of time on it, but the customers are really looking for something different, something other than what you're offering, or maybe what you're offering, the time for it has passed on. And so maybe the people that work for you are saying, hey, nobody's interested in this, but you want to keep with it. You want to keep doing it. Listen, sometimes you've got to make the realization that this is not working and I need to move on. So 3 things I always like to say that you can do. New model, borrow model, or tweak a model. What you don't have to do is create something from scratch. We don't have time for that. We have to act now. And so some business models are built on innovation and they're truly unique, right? And so those are considered what might be new models. And then you have borrowed models, which are models could be like your subscription-based models that we see a lot of right now. Or maybe it's just that you need to make a few tweaks to your business model. Whatever it is, you need to take a look, and I hope everybody in this mastermind has this. You need to look at your business canvas. So your current business canvas obviously was not created for what we're experiencing right now. So when you begin to look at these 8 areas or 9 areas, you now have to ask yourself these questions based on where market conditions are right now. First question, which partner relationships are critical to your company's success? So if what you're doing right now, if it's not critical and you have to make a shift, then you're going to have to shift who your partners are. Let me use myself as an example. I have a lot of corporate contracts, but right now, nobody is working with consultants unless you are essential. Your IT, cybersecurity, your product or service is essential to their supply chain. If not, they're kind of laying us off right now until this is over. Well, guess what? Just like you, I still have bills to pay. So what I looked at is, what are people buying right now? We're going to get into that. What are people buying right now? Well, I have a lot of relationships in the medical field. So I began to source products that I can sell to the medical field, which changed my key partners other from what I have in my current business model. One of the things I want you to look at is, where are your relationships? Who do you know? Who's in your network? Where if you decide to do a turnkey service or provide a new product that is in demand right now, that you can get those products to market quickly. So you're looking at your activities, you're looking at your assets, but the number one thing you want to think about is your value proposition. So I'm going to show you something. These areas, I saw this online and I thought this is really great. These are 6 areas that are affecting the mindset of buyers right now. So you have a consumer behavior shift across the line, right? Because now everybody's afraid. I don't want to get it. So like me, I stocked up on apple cider vinegar and turmeric and honey shots, right? I've got bottles of it downstairs. Why did I get it? I can buy it online. I don't have to leave my house. I can go online and purchase it, and it's at my front door. So these are some of the areas that people are looking at. Restrict reactive health management. Prioritize products essential to virus containment, health and public safety. What do we know that to be? Everybody's looking for face masks. I got an email today where it was like, hey, we have bling face masks, right? This was a company, apparel company, did women's apparel. Guess what? Nobody's going anywhere, so a lot of people aren't really shopping, but guess what? They're looking for face masks. So they pivoted their business model. And now they're offering all these custom designed face masks. Who's not trying to fill their refrigerator, freezer, or pantry, right? So people are stockpiling food. I was supposed to be on tour. We're going to bring the tour online. So, you know, you got to think about, people are going to still want to be entertained. Did we not just see how all the DJs are online? I'm sure some of you have participated. They're, you know, having the day parties. They're coming on. Erykah Badu did a concert or listening party last night. Everybody is having to change. So as you look at these 6 areas, how do you fit in? What is it that you could be doing if your business model is affected? Now, a couple of you said, hey, I'm good. I'm doing what I normally do. But if your business model is affected, how do you make the shift and how do you take advantage of these areas? And so I'm going to go back to our business canvas, because this is going to make you really think about, who are my customers that I'm going to sell to? Can I make a shift that my existing customers would still appreciate this new product or service that I'm offering? So think about the apparel company, right? They're still in that segment. It still would appeal to me. It's just a different product based on where we are now. So what I want to do, because I don't want to monopolize a lot of the time on teaching, I wanted to open the mastermind up to see what questions you have, where you are, what are you thinking about? I mean, I have a wealth of knowledge, and this mastermind group has a wealth of knowledge as well. I want to know what your challenges are.
Had to unmute myself. So that was really great. And hopefully if Dr. Felicia will be so kind, if we can get copies of those
Yes, you can.
sheets, and I'll make them available for everyone inside of the group. It would also be available on our website as well. But that was some key information and some helpful tips. Is there anyone inside of the mastermind right now that has any questions for Dr. Phillips about this or anything regarding business strategy? Yeah. Or she just did so good that
I'm wondering.
I know that I think it was Davita. Davita was talking about, she is a mobile notary signing agent. A lot of people, it's essential. She says it's essential right now because since people can't go to financial institutions, she can go to them and she can, you know, prepare some social distancing or whatever, but she can actually go to where they need to be to do the notary, because people still need notary.
She's mobile.
They need so those living wills notarized and wills notarized. Yes. Still needs things notarized. So it's just a matter of getting her information out there so people know who she is and how to connect with her. That's the biggest thing. But she's already prepared for the shift, because now she can say, if you need a notary, your financial institution, you may be able to do it for free there, but you can't go in.
Right.
You know, there's services that you can't do, and I'm still here. I can still come to you and still practice social distancing and protect you as well. So there is a RON or and notarization. Oh, e-notarization. She has
Yeah.
notarization as well. So she provides
Mm-hmm.
those services as well. So that's a good, okay. So Sonia asked, she says, I teach podcast courses with this economy. One is purchasing course. No one is purchasing the course. So how does she shift to still offer value?
So that's great. So I don't want her to think that people aren't purchasing, because they are. One of the things is that you may want to look at who you're targeting. Okay. And so you still have people who are working their jobs, who are still getting paid, even though they're not working in the office, they're working from home. Well, guess what? A lot of them are looking at, hey, you know what? This is happening too much. I need to start my own business, or I need to do some professional development. And I'm not sure what type of courses she's teaching, but maybe instead of offering a discount, because I'm not big on offering discounts, but you can offer a bundle. Mm-hmm. You can package your courses a different way so that people will want to take advantage of it. I'll tell you, even with myself, I've seen people slow down. They're still purchasing, but I've seen it slow down. So I decided that next week I'm going to do some free webinars. Sometimes you have to kind of go back and reintroduce yourself sometimes, right? Let people see the value. Let people get to know your brand, what you stand for, what you believe in, or what you bring to the table. Because here's what I've learned after going through a recession and all the other things over the years, is that when somebody wants something, they will find a way to get it. You just have to show them the value in what you have to offer.
Exactly. People find value in toilet paper, and they're buying loads of it. Okay.
We got 100 rolls over here. Trust me.
So don't they ain't got no money, and I'm shaking my head just like you, Dion. Like, really, dude? That's where all the toilet paper is, over Felicia's house, right?
Listen, people freaking out in two ways. Either they're buying up everything, or they're consumed by the news, one or the other, right? And I find humor in both. But at the same time, people are faced with very real situations in their business, which is why I'm applauding what you're doing here, because we got to be able to disseminate the information, right? And help each other through this crisis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Miss Shaun, hey, beautiful one. She has a question. Thank you for raising your hand in the group. She has a question.
Hi. Hey, everybody. So I don't have a question so much as I just want to say for some of the things that Dr. Felicia talked about are things that I've had to do in the last year and a half. So when I went through Black Belt Business Academy, I was kind of starting from scratch and doing everything from soup to nuts, right? That was creating my canvas, identifying my products, getting a website built, all of those kinds of things. And then once I started the Emerge towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, one of the things, our homework assignment was to go back and take a look at our canvas. For me, it was go back and take a look at my existing canvas. And what I saw just in a year's time is that what I thought I was targeting, those things that I was going after, really turned out to not be who I had as clients. And so I just think for the group, doing this kind of assessment, I would say, is not something that you do once per year. Is definitely something you want to do in every, quarter, every 6 months, along those lines, because I think as you start getting into doing work and as you kind of narrow your focus, to Dr. Felicia's point, and not casting such a wide net, you'll find that those things that are coming to you may not be, they may be, and if they are, awesome. In my case, that did not pan out that way. So I had to sort of take another look at what I was offering, who I was offering it to, and now that I have clients, to sort of cater our services towards those groups. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is not to take advantage of the situations that people find themselves in, because I am truly a DUALpreneur. I love that, you know that, Tara. But because I'm doing both of those things, is looking at what I know my full-time employer requires and the things that we're having to do. It is offering me insight into things that I know I need to be doing for my own business. So one of those is taking a look at all of the things that are happening around us and making sure that for the services that my company offers, that we are tailoring that to meet people's needs today and not I'm married to this one idea and I can't do anything but that idea. You have to be willing to, it's not enough to know what the change is, but be willing to actually make the change. So just wanted to offer that as comment and I guess testimony to what you guys have heard today.
Yeah, that's absolutely fabulous. And a lot of people are finding, including myself, we were finding that we do have to make that change. We do have to shift and pivot our way of thinking. We're doing what we do because we love to do it, but it comes easy for us most of the time. That's why we're doing it. But what happens when you have to do something completely different that you're not that familiar with? It's very scary. And we practice the art of avoidance. And so that one thing that's probably very scary for you to start new is probably where the coins are. It's probably where the money is. And
absolutely,
you don't have to do it alone. You have support groups. You have, DUALpreneur. You have Dr. Phillips. You have so many people that are doing the same thing. We have to I pivot all the time because it depends on where the demand. I was prepared to pivot for the recession because I knew it was coming. What I didn't know is that there would be a pandemic quarantine, right? But I was still, even though I was preparing for one thing, it has me prepared for another thing. Case in point, Trump and the trade war with China.
We talked about that.
Even though it was a pain in the butt to go through it, and it's very scary to go through it because we didn't know what we were going to, what was going to go up in price or whatever. That whole process changed the mindset of a lot of companies that were doing business with China, and they started finding other ways to do business with other countries just in case they had to pull out of China. Now with this pandemic, China is shut down. So that whole trade thing inadvertently prepared a lot of companies to pivot during this time. Okay. And so sometimes when you're pivoting for one thing, it's preparing you to pivot for something else as well.
One of the things I want people to understand when you are building out your business canvas, be flexible. A lot of times when we are this is what I do and this is what I offer, you're so stuck to that you can't see the opportunity that's moving around you because you're caught up, if you will, right? Maybe if you put your website out there a few times, a few people know you and this is what you do. And so you're afraid that if you make a move that's different than what you've been putting out there, that people are going to think you don't know what you're doing. Let me tell you something. I have learned that nobody is going home with you. Nobody is paying your bills. Nobody's keeping you afloat but you. And so you have to make the decision as to what's best for your company. If it ain't working, move on. Stop holding on to dead weight. Listen, we've got to be swift right now. And holding on to things is not going to keep you in business. Crying about it, borrowing money, good money after bad decisions, is not going to keep you around. You've got to woman up, man up, whatever you got to do. If you need to reach out for help, if the decisions you're making aren't positioning you in the right place, accept it, acknowledge it, take action by putting a new plan in place and move on.
I absolutely agree with you on that one. Case in point, even though although Mastermind is picking up now because everybody is now concerned about the financial ramification of coronavirus, they weren't that concerned about it in January and February. They just started feeling, so I pitched that back in January and February because I knew it was going to have a financial impact. The response I got from an international news organization was, "Oh, yeah, that sucks." So, but now they're calling me because now they really need to know, okay, what does this mean? What does the stimulus package mean? What does it mean for, what about small business owners that have bad credit that, they didn't file taxes? What does that mean for them? And so now Mastermind is picking up now. But what a lot of people didn't know is that I built websites for 25 years. So I had that to fall back on. It wasn't something I just started to do. I woke up and said, I'm going to build websites. I was always doing it. That just wasn't on my forefront. That was just another stream of income that I turned on and off when I needed it. But right now, business owners need websites because I promise you, people, they now have more options. And so they want to go
they need
to,
efficient
they want to,
websites.
you know, especially with businesses that need consultants or whatever, they're looking for people that look legitimate online because they can't walk into your office. And if you don't look legitimate online or have a professional online presence, they're not going to think that you're qualified to do that. And so there's certain characteristics of websites that people are looking for that say, oh, okay, I think I want to talk to them. Oh, I think I want to buy here. And so that's what I help small businesses do because I've been doing it for so long. But that's me having to pivot. You know, I was doing this to pivot for the recession, not for a quarantine. The quarantine was just a bonus because I'm an introvert and I don't have to go out and talk to people.
Oh, girl, listen. I want to say this because I know everybody is some people are on edge right now. But one of the things that you can always do to kind of stay abreast is everybody should be subscribing to their industry-based blogs, magazines, websites, because you can always stay abreast of what's happening in your industry that way. You know, a lot of times we have our favorite things we like to read or listen to as far as podcasts. But the one thing that you should always be checking in with and watching every morning and every day is what's happening in your industry. One, it's going to affect how people buy. It's going to affect your pricing. It's going to affect how you're getting your customers. And if you don't know that information, you're just not positioning yourself properly. You said something that I wanted to comment on. The truth of the matter is a lot of people will not qualify for the SBA funding. They will not qualify for what, like here in Atlanta, Invest Atlanta is offering funds through the city of Atlanta. City of Atlanta has set aside $1.5 million for small businesses, and so have a lot of cities. But the thing is this, I talk to a lot of businesses, they're not organized, meaning their financials aren't in order. They can't pull a profit and loss statement. They hadn't even done their 2018 taxes, much less their 2019 taxes. And a lot of what we're talking about is based on all those financials, based on those taxes. And if you cannot present that, you're not going to be in that number. You're not going to get that financing. So what can you do? Now, these, just like you have your A paper, you got your B and C paper, right? So let's talk about that. So, you've got companies like First Franklin out here. They'll take 6 months bank statements. It's not so much about your credit. You can get up to $15,000. Guess what? That'll hold a lot of people over right now. We need to have some real conversations about what's going to help people because everybody's not going to qualify. And the truth of the matter is, because they don't even have everything together, the qualifications are changing every day as to how to get it. So I don't want people to think that because they're seeing all this talk about funding and stimulus package, and you can go here and you can go there. Listen, it's criteria wherever you go. But I know that the truth is entrepreneurs screw their credit up trying to get to the top. They don't always make the best decisions. They don't always have a lot of money in their savings account. I just said the average American has less than $400 in the bank. They're trying to make it to next week, let alone 30, 60 days from now. So what are they going to do? So some of the things, if you sell a product or you have a service and you have consistent cash flow coming in, you can look at some of those other companies like First Franklin or I think another one was One Main Financial and World Finance. Now listen, we know it's going to be high interest rates. That's why you got to look at your revenue, because if you can pay it off, and you can pay it off without the interest, then that could be an option for you. Because if this is just going to be 30 or 60 days and you're going to be able to come out, but then you got to be able to forecast. Because this is the thing that people aren't thinking about. If I'm down in my business for 30 days, let's say, then we come out. Guess what? People got to gear up. They're not going to instantly just start spending, okay? Because you got to think, we've been shocked. Right? Now we're in a mindset of, let me hold my cash. Let me eat at home. I'm not going out. I'm not spending. So people got to warm up, right? So now if that's another 30 days, or if you're on a billing cycle, it may be 45 days before you actually see some cash after you've already waited 45 days. So now you're at 90 days. See, these are the conversations that we're not talking about. One, because people are not looking at the flow of money. You've got to know the flow of money. And you got to understand that people are going to shop differently, spend differently. We're going to engage each other differently after this. You're just not going to go back to the way things used to be. This is a pandemic. So people's mind has shifted. How does that affect your business?
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, is that this is a shock to the system. Now, let me explain the shock, okay? Y'all think that it's a shock to your system. Now, financial institutions, I used to run a financial institution in Atlanta, Georgia. And when we got our financials, what we used to do were called shock tests. The shock test was, we would say, what if there was a pandemic? How would that affect our finances and we lost revenue? What if we lost this amount of membership or this amount of money coming in? How would that affect our financials? What if whatever, we have 3 or 4 scenarios that we would do that would impact our income or expenses. And we need to find out, how is this going to affect our financials the way that it is now? So financial institutions relatively prepare for certain shocks. I don't think they prepared for the pandemic, but they prepare for certain shocks. If we want to be business owners, we have to start thinking the same way that businesses think, that you have to have financials. You have to understand where the money's coming in and where it's going out, so that you know if you have to cut expenses or you have to ramp up income. You have to be able to understand, okay, this is my peak during my selling. So these are my valleys during my sales. What am I going to do to increase that? So you have to think like a business. We want to be in business. We want to own our own business, but we don't want to think like a business.
That's right.
And you don't have to do it by yourself. My best friend is an accountant. I am not an accountant, nor do I play one on TV, but I can read financials. And so as long as she gives me my financials, that my financials tell me a story and they tell me what I need to do. So that means I need to do more websites, or I need to do more speaking engagements. I tell y'all this, I wrote in an email, this pandemic cost me $10,000 already. $10,000. I had 3 speaking engagements that would have totaled $10,000 in a 3-month period of time. All 3 of those have been canceled, not postponed. They have been canceled. Okay. And so now that's not money coming in. That's a shock to my revenue, because I anticipated that in my forecast, in my revenue. So now I'm going to have to shift and figure out what I'm going to do to either replace it or cut out expenses because of the lost revenue. So those are the things that we have to do, but I can't know that if I don't know my financials.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
one of the things I like to encourage anyone that is watching live or that's here with us on Zoom is, if you don't have an accountant, you need to get an accountant. You need to get QuickBooks Online. You should be able to get a snapshot of your business in minutes. You shouldn't have to pick up a phone or, wait for someone to send you your information back.
right.
You should be able to log in into your accounting software and get all of the information that you need. This is what business owners do. You don't wait until a crisis happens to get your finances in order. Now, one of the things I am focused on, because this is the same conversation I find myself having every day with small businesses, is them not having their finances in order. That comes from fear. Mm-hmm. Let's just talk about that. That comes from fear. You're being reactive to everything that happens. And so we can sit on this all day. I can pump out information all day long. But if your mind isn't right, if you haven't made up your mind that one, you're going to handle business. At the top of the year, the message that I gave everyone is, have all of your business in order. All of your financials, your certifications, anything that you need to do. I told everybody that worked with me, get it in order, because things are happening. I cannot explain it. I know it. And people who work with me, they know how I am. Entrepreneurship is very spiritual. It is the most faith-based journey that you will ever take. It'll bring you to your knees and it'll lift you in the clouds all at the same time. But we have to stop reacting to what's happening and be prepared for what's happening. What keeps us from being prepared is that we're fearful of the unknown. We're fearful of what might happen. I might be successful. I might make that $1 million. There are a lot of things, or I might fail. And then everybody's going to see that I failed, because we live in such a society where everything is posted and shared and everybody's kind of in each other's business. You got to relax from all that. You got to take a step back, and you got to focus on what's important for you. Right now, we're in a nationwide timeout. That's how I look at it. We're in a national timeout, a global timeout. And this is a time for you to sit and think about what you have been doing. When I think about my nephews and I'm sending them into the timeout, if I do that, guess what? It's because they need to think about what they've done and how they're going to behave after being in that timeout. How are you going to behave when you come out of this? How are you going to behave while you're in it? What changes can you make while you have this quiet time to focus on your business? That's when you leave this today, you should have a pen and paper, and you should be able to say, starting today, this is what I'm going to do differently. These are the partners, the resources I need to do these things differently. Because if you're sitting there thinking that you can Google it or go to YouTube for it, listen, you are fooling yourself. That's why you hadn't gotten anywhere now.
And that's what, like I told you, on Monday, I could build my own house. It probably won't be livable, but
Exactly.
I can, I'm confident I can put, 2 pieces of wood together and hammer it together.
Yes.
I wouldn't want anybody to come visit. It wouldn't be safe or approved. I could do it, but I'm not qualified. And it's not in my lane. So I have to hire a contractor and someone that builds houses to help me build my house. And so a lot of people, we want to bootstrap our way to billions. You can, but at some point, you're going to have to invest to get a return on the investment. And a lot of people aren't willing to put in the initial investment. They want to go to the fireplace that's empty and say, give me heat. Doesn't work that way. They want to go to the bank and say, give me interest, and you have no deposits. It doesn't work that way. So at some point, you have to know that you investing in yourself, whether it's a coach, whether it's QuickBooks and knowing your financials, whether it's investing in your website, whatever it is, you need to invest in your business. Because if you don't want to put money into your business to start it up, why should I buy your products and services? You won't even invest in yourself. It cost me a lot of money just to build the platform for amount of money. If you only knew how much money it did, and it's just now starting to pay off. So the seeds we plant today, we can't eat the seeds tomorrow. The plants won't grow tomorrow. But when it grows, it flourishes if we continue to water it. Now, for those of you that are saying QuickBooks, oh, I need to get QuickBooks, DUALpreneur, we can provide you with a link so you can get a DUALpreneur discount for QuickBooks. I see that Davita, she says she's been using QuickBooks since 2019. That's good. She says she can't, do an accountant right now. Starting with QuickBooks and at least downloading those transactions and categorizing them will prepare you. So when you do get an accountant, you're already prepared for them. Because the first thing they're going to tell you to do is probably to get QuickBooks.
Yeah, they are. They can't even help you, right? I mean, you can't show up with a box load full of stuff, right? You got to get it organized so somebody can help you.
Yes, so make it easy for people to help you. Does anyone else have any questions in the building or in the group before we wrap it up? We have about 10 minutes. But that's some good information. Felicia, that was very helpful. We're looking forward to those handouts that you're going to give as well. Because it is a matter for us, and it's scary to change. But the great thing is that you don't have to do it alone.
No, you do not. This is an awesome community. You have an awesome community. There are a lot of people who have products and service. Listen, there is economic impact right here in this community. Yeah. Right. If you all understand what's offered in this community, just the exchange of revenue within the community can keep you all afloat. One of the things I love most about having the U.S. Business Women's Network, we started in 2015. But the one thing I will tell you is seeing these women spend money, support, hire each other, do joint ventures together. I will tell you, over this time, we've only had one incident, and it was very minute, right? I jumped right in because I feel like the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack, right? So I try to be the example. And we have grown by leaps and bounds. These women, they're getting their businesses certified, they're getting contracts, they're doing great things. That's what we have to perpetuate, not just in one community, but all communities that we're a part of. If you do it, then guess what? Other people will follow suit. And now we can build more sustainable and profitable businesses. You see, we tend to look over what's right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of us, looking for somebody else to come in and save us. But everything you need is right here.
Absolutely. And what I love about this community is that we understand each other. We understand that we have full-time or part-time business, jobs, but we have a passion to build businesses. We have an entrepreneurial passion. And, that's something that's very unique. And, some people want to keep their jobs. They love their jobs. Some people are transitioning.
Some people should. Absolutely.
Some people should keep their jobs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Especially if you need benefits,
Yes.
But and it's a transition, it's a great transition into full-time entrepreneurship, because now the man is funding your household and paying everything, and
the investor, right?
Because people are like, you work for the man. Yeah, I love that man.
I tell all of my DUALpreneurs, the job is the investor, right? The job helps you start the business, get the training, build the branding, the marketing, everything, right? So you got to shift your thinking. Is not all the typical things we say, because if you had a real investor and you were doing this full time, trust me, it'd be a lot worse, okay? Because they'd be riding your back every minute and every moment, wondering how they're going to get their money back. Mm-hmm. You're in a great position as a DUALpreneur. DUALpreneurs are the happiest preneurs, so I understand. So I never had that experience. Hey, I've been full time for 30 years. This is all I know. But what I will tell my clients is, do not quit your job. That's the first thing I tell them. You keep the job until you're able to match your salary plus 20%. Because you got to have that cushion for times like this.
You
got to have that first client. You got to have that first client. I try to get them to diversify. So whether they work with small businesses, I still want them to have those corporate contracts as well, because you need that money coming in too. Because guess what? Sometimes when you only serve small businesses and then something like this happens, it can affect your revenue drastically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's been absolutely fabulous, Dr. Felicia, having you on. We will definitely have you come back to share your wisdom. You were absolutely fabulous. Before we go, I want to introduce the ladies that are in the building. So I'm going to unmute you. As I unmute you, can you please give us your name and what your side hustle superpower is, so that we can start utilizing your services in the community? Let's start with Asha.
Somehow I knew you were going to start with me. I am Asha Lakes, and my superpower is creating beautiful images of beautiful people.
Beautiful. And how do you do that?
Through portraits. I am a photographic artist. So, yeah.
Got one.
That's awesome. So if you need some beautiful artistry, then you make sure you go to
work if you're not to, but they prefer you not to. So
right, Asha.
How you want it.
Okay, there's a big old echo. I don't know where that's coming from.
Oh, could be doing something a little different.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, great. Okay, there it's gone. All right, let's go with Rashay. Rashay in the building.
Hi, everybody. I am Rashay, your passionate and purposeful independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay. I'm on the phone.
Come on, Daddy.
And I am your skincare guru.
All right. And she's with Mary Kay. She is your skincare guru. If you need some Mary Kay, hit up my sister right there. She can help you out. She got stuff for you. She can send it to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All of the information you guys shared today. I do need to pivot because mine is a people business and I have to learn how to do that virtually. So yes. Pivot is on.
Pivot is on. Hashtag pivot is on. All right, Miss Shaun.
Mute myself. Hi, everybody. I'm Shaun Quarterman with Q Consulting. My services that I provide are professional services, so working to help you solve your company's biggest challenges. We partner with you to figure out what your challenge is, number one, and number two, we help you come up with a solution to solve that so that you can get to a point where you start increasing your revenue.
Awesome. She is your business strategist and business solution provider. Thank you so much. The great thing about her business as well is that they do technology as well. So if your business needs some assistance with technology, especially, you know, there's a lot of corporations that are now trying to get their employees to work from home. Her and her partner definitely can help you with that. Or if you need to, you know, have technology with your home, they can provide some consultation on the best equipment and how to do that. So she is awesome. Or refer a business. Say, for example, your business, like the business that you work at, they need to do some telecommuting, but they don't have the technology to do it. You might want to refer them to her.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. Thank you for saying that, Tara, because that is actually a project we worked on today, getting a company set up so that their associates can telework.
You know, so you can be the hero and say, you know what, we don't have it, but I know a company that can help us do it.
That's right.
All right, great. Miss Dion. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dion Christopher. I am actually a conference event planner. So, you know, I've been mainly affected. My company name is Southern Innovative Solutions. And I would say through this pandemic, one of the services, two services actually have come to my horizon is virtual meetings, taking traditional people in how to have an effective meeting virtually, as well as negotiating with the hotels because of cancellations. Many of them are giving people leeways in their contract, but there have been many incidents where hotels have not. So I'm learning that my source and negotiation skills have come into great play for my clients.
Beautiful. So if you have a conference that you were going to do or something that you've locked yourself in with a hotel and because it's pandemic, it had to be canceled and they're trying to play hardball, who are you going to call?
Dion!
Awesome. And Miss Charlene, outside in the beautiful.
It's noisy and I'm at my sister's house. But hi, I'm Charlene. My 9 to 5 is I'm an accountant. Been an accountant for about 16 years. Degreed, have an MBA, and my side hustle is financial education. But I am also your accounting specialist. I know some of the ladies on the side said they can't afford an accountant. I'm your person.
All right.
So there's no excuses. We have an accountant that's willing to work with you in the community.
Yes.
So if you have some accounting questions, you may not be ready for an accountant, but you might need some consultation.
Yes.
I encourage you to connect with Miss Charlene. She is a DUALpreneur. She understands your needs because she is a DUALpreneur as well. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. And I don't know if Jan is still in the building. Jan, are you still there? She may not be in the building, but her something is on there with her. But what I love about Jan is that Jan has concealment wear. Okay, so concealment wear is if you are a licensed, if you're licensed to carry a gun, and you're a concealed license carrier or a licensed concealed carrier. You don't want the gun to show anywhere. So she has garments. She has this beautiful blouse where you can conceal it inside the blouse, but you can't see the gun. Or she has different outfits, but she specializes in outfits that are made for concealed weapons. I think it's the most awesome thing in the world. She should have all the government contracts by now.
Right.
She has this other thing. I think it's like a waistband or something that you can put. It almost looks like it can make my stomach really flat, but it's to conceal that too. She has purses that it's just everything you can think of as far as what you would normally wear. Hers is designed specifically for concealing a weapon. Again, it's for license concealment, but yes. I think it's just the coolest thing. She also has mace. She sent me some mace. And I meant to tell you thank you, Jan. I don't know if I did it, but I can't take it on the on the plane with me, but I'm sure going to put it on my keychain. It's a keychain holder, and it's pink, and it's a defense spray, quick release key ring thing. So if somebody gets on my nerves, tries to attack me, I can spray them. So she has fun stuff like that as well. So Jan is in the building. You can reach her. I'll put her information, or have her put her information in the comments section, so you can check out her website as well. So I thank you all for joining us today. We're a few minutes over, but that's okay. It was so worth it. My name is Tara Jackson, aka Madam Money. You can find me at madammoney.com. If you find that your business needs a website right now, and it needs to be professional or look like a Fortune 500 company, regardless of your size, I can help you with that. Just go to srjwebsites.com, srjwebsites.com. Miss Felicia, how can we get in contact with you and stay in touch with you, because you are so fabulous?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your platform. I enjoyed spending this hour with you all today. It was absolutely phenomenal. You can contact me simply at FeliciaPhillips.com. You can email me at Felicia@FeliciaPhillips.com, and you can follow me on all social media platforms at I am Dr. Phillips.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This has been absolutely great session. If you have any questions, make sure you post them in the comments below wherever you're watching this video. If you're watching the replay, please do #replay. Also, make sure you invite other dualpreneurs to join the dualpreneur community, and let us know what other things you'd like for us to talk about. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about Facebook ad marketing on a small budget with Fitzgerald, and I think that's going to be fun. We're going to learn a great deal from him. Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great night, and don't forget, wash your hands.